Bienvenidos a todos. Muchas gracias a
Welcome,
todos
everyone.
por su tiempo.
Thank you,
Sabemos que
everyone, for your
el viernes
time. We
para
know
aprender
that
de
this is a
idiomas
Friday.
siempre es divertido y
It's
quiero
always fun to
empezar
learn on a Friday.
esta
So I want to
presentación
begin this
dándoles las gracias por
presentation
todo lo que
by
ustedes hacen en
thanking
sus
all of
comunidades
the work that you
para
do in
la
your communities
conservación de las aves
for the
migratorias,
conservation of migratory
especialmente
birds,
en
specifically
su ciudad,
in
en su
your
jardín, en su
cities, in
comunidad.
your yards, in your
En
communities.
el día de hoy vamos a
Today,
cubrir una
we
serie
are
de
going to
tópicos que
talk
van a
about
ayudar
different
a cada
topics that
uno
are
de
going to
ustedes a
help
tomar
each of
el
you
tema de conservación de
to
este año
consider
y
this year's
celebrar el Día Mundial de
conservation
las Aves
topic and to
Migratorias
celebrate this World Migratory Day
realizando acciones simples que
by
todos
carrying
podemos
out
replicar.
simple actions that
Vamos a
we
hablar
can
sobre el
all
tema de
replicate.
conservación de
We are
este
going to
año y
talk
las
about
especies
this year's theme and
focales
focal
que
species. This is our
están
theme for
representadas
this
en el
year that
arte.
are these
También
are the species
vamos
that
a
are
compartir
represented in this
5
art.
tips
We're also going
para
to share
realizar
5
un evento
tips
exitoso
for organizing a
y
successful event
otras
and
estrategias de
other strategies
comunicación
of
para llegar a
communication
mayor
to
audiencia,
spread the
diversificar
word,
nuestros eventos
to
y
diversify our events and reach a broader
viajaremos a
audience.
Perú y
And we're
México,
going to
donde
travel to
dos de
Peru
nuestros
and Mexico,
educadores
where two
destacados van a
of our
compartir qué hacen para
highlighted
celebrar el Día Mundial de
educators
las
are
Aves
going to share
Migratorias
what they're doing
y
to
cómo
celebrate
planean
this
hacerlo.
World Migratory Day and how they're planning to do this
Finalmente,
celebration for this
al
year.
final de la sesión
Lastly,
tendremos
towards the end of
tiempo
our
para
session, we will
preguntas,
have time
discusiones
for
y
questions,
respuestas.
discussions, and answers.
El Día Mundial de las Aves
The
Migratorias
World
tiene como tema de
Migratory
conservación
Bird Day
espacios
has
compartidos,
as a
creando
conservation theme
ciudades y
shared
comunidades
spaces,
amigables con
creating
las aves
bird-friendly
y los
cities and
ecosistemas.
communities
Y este es un tema que nos
for
invita
2025. And
a
this is a
reflexionar
topic that
sobre la
invites us to
importancia que tienen
reflect
las
about the
aves en las
importance
áreas
that birds
urbanas
have in
y cómo
urban
en
areas
estas
and
áreas
how
urbanas, en
in these
ciudades y
urban
comunidades,
areas,
que es
cities
donde
and
vive la mayoría de
communities
la gente,
where we find
podemos
most of
realizar
the
las
people
mayores
living,
acciones
we can
simples
have
para
the
conservar
most important and simple actions
este
to
equilibrio tanto
for the
en la
conservation
ciudad
of this
como
balance
la
both in the
naturaleza que
city
dialogan.
and in the natural environment.
El Día Mundial de las Aves Migratorias es la
The
mayor
World
campaña de
Migratory
creación
Bird
de
Day is the
conciencia global
biggest campaign
sobre las
of
aves
raising
migratorias,
awareness worldwide
las
about
amenazas que enfrentan en
migratory
sus rutas
birds,
y cómo
the
todos
risks
podemos
that they
realizar
face
acciones de
on their
cooperación para
routes, and
proteger
how we
tanto
can
sus
all have
hábitats
cooperative
como a estos
actions
amigos
to
alados para
protect
que
their
continúen
habitat, for
eh,
them to continue, or for
deleitando
our friends to
a las
continue
futuras generaciones con este fenómeno de migración
to
global.
benefit future generations
En el
with
mundo
these
existen
global
distintos
migration phenomena.
corredores
In the world, we
migratorios
have different migratory
y
corridors.
nosotros enfocamos principalmente en
We
el corredor
are
de las
mainly
Américas,
focused
pero
in the
estamos en
Americas
alianza con la
corridor, but
Convención de
we are
Especies
allied
Migratorias, el Acuerdo de
with
Protección de Aves
the
Acuáticas
agreement
entre Europa y
of
África y las
birds
rutas de
between
migración
protection
del este
between
de
Europe
Asia
and
y
Africa and the
Australasia
migration routes
para
of
realizar este
Asia and
esfuerzo realmente
Australasia
global.
to have a real
Cada
global
año, el Día
effort.
Mundial de las Aves
Every
Migratorias
year,
explora un
this
tema de
World Migratory
conservación
Bird Day explores a
específico y
conservation, a
a
specific
aquí mostramos
conservation
algunos
topic, and
como
we're showing here
proteger
some
a las
different
aves de la
topics as
contaminación al plástico,
protecting birds from plastic
el agua,
pollution,
la
the
importancia de los
water, the
insectos en la
importance
vida
of
de
the
las aves,
insects in the life of the
la
birds,
contaminación lumínica,
the
entre otros
light
aspectos
pollution, among
como
other aspects,
las tecnologías
as
de rastreo que nos ayudan a entender cómo
tracking
las aves se
technology that
desplazan.
helps us to understand how birds
Y
connect
para este
with our
año el
world.
tema de conservación,
And for this year,
espacios
we
compartidos,
are focused on
creando
conservation,
ciudades y
shared
comunidades
spaces,
amigables
creating
con las
bird-friendly
aves,
cities
ya
and
se
communities.
encuentra
And this
traducido
is already
principalmente en los tres
available,
idiomas del
translated
continente, en
in
español, en
the
inglés, el
three
francés
main
y el
languages
portugués.
of our
Y es que
continent:
las aves
Portuguese, French,
urbanas
Spanish,
son
and English.
importantes para la
Urban
vida
birds are
cotidiana
important
de
for
sus
daily
ciudadanos.
life of our
Estas
cities.
aves proveen
These
servicios
birds
ecosistémicos
give
como la polinización,
resources
dispersión de semillas,
as
tanto en áreas de invernada,
pollination,
en sus rutas de
seed,
migración o sus rutas o
dispersation,
en sus
both
áreas
in their
de
routes
reproducción.
or the
Estas aves
reproduction
juegan un papel
areas.
clave
These birds are
en el equilibrio de la
very
vida.
fundamental in the
Sabemos
balance
que
of
los
life.
espacios verdes
We
en
know
las
that green
ciudades cada vez
spaces in the
son
cities
menores y es
are
por eso que las aves
smaller
cuando
every
están
day. That's
presentes en
why
nuestra ciudad
birds, when they're
también son un
present in our
reflejo
cities,
de la
are also a
importancia que le
reflection
damos a
of
las
the
áreas
importance
verdes.
that we give to green areas or green
Las
spaces.
aves
The birds can also nest in our urban parks, our gardens, finding refugees and insects. That's why in these spaces we need to find balance for this relationship to be as healthy as possible. Of course, cities threaten birds in different ways, mainly because of the urban growth. This destroys their habitat. They find less food and shelter. No other risks are pollution issues, or that can be sound pollution, light pollution. A lot of birds cannot see themselves reflected on glasses, and one of the the highest threats in cities are the collisions with buildings or windows or houses. And these domestic animals, or those who are not that have no supervision, are also a risk or threat, like predators such as cats or dogs that live on the streets. This is why on this World Migratory Bird Day, we highlight how we can do a change of behavior in our cities, in our communities, to become friendly with birds throughout the year. So I would like to ask, when do you celebrate, or when do we celebrate the World Migratory Bird Day? I would like to read your answer on the chat. Is this the first Saturday of May, the first Saturday of October, or every day? I would like to listen to your answer. Where do you celebrate the World Migratory Bird? When do you celebrate this in your community? We can see second Saturday of May, second Saturday of October. Okay, the World Migratory Bird Day is the only celebration that is performed 2 times a year, or it has two official dates, the second Saturday of May and the second Saturday of October. In May, we celebrate the arrival of the birds to their nesting sites in the northern latitude. And in October, we celebrate their arrival to the hibernation areas. However, we know that birds not only migrate in these 2 days. So we invite everyone to celebrate or to do these activities when the birds are present in your communities. This may be C, the right answer. Every day is a good opportunity to celebrate this World Migratory Bird Day. And we are happy to have events throughout the year, and also to get together with these official dates of May and October. For this big celebration and global campaign, we create this art, these posters, and this year we have the honor of having Ana Maria Savarino Drago. She is a biologist, artist, she's Mexican, and she has celebrated this World Bird Migratory Day for many years with us. So we are very happy to see the result of her illustration for this year's campaign. Ana Maria Savarino did this very beautiful poster that we see on our left. This poster shows the conservation topic, and it also shows different groups of birds and how these different groups of birds are related, from the water birds, gooses, starks, that are all living in harmony in our communities. So it is our duty to learn how to protect them. This is why each bird will have a different action, an action that we can do on the grass, in our cities. Each of these species is drawing a different action. So I invite you to review the information of these species in our website. We have detailed information of these species, how to identify them, and what are the threats that they're facing. These are birds that can be adopted by different programs, as educational programs on the coast, you can adopt these sea species, but also communities that are on high level in the Americas. For instance, they could adopt this giant hummingbird or also the peregrine falcon. This is a migratory bird that is found throughout the continent. This is why we wanted to draw the bird in relation with a conservation action. So we'll see what are the conservation actions present in this global poster. The first one, of course, is planting native plants. We know that native plants resist the local weather better. They provide food and resting areas for these species, and they're beautiful and colorful. Therefore, one of the main actions that we are promoting is to create local gardens with local species. We know that cats in our homes are very loved creatures, but when they're unsupervised, these pets can be really harmful for the bird population. An action that we could all take is to keep our cats inside our homes, or to have patios or closed patios for the cats to be able to be outdoors without harming the wildlife. We also can have actions like keeping a leash on your cat. For this, I will invite you to a webinar next month where we will talk about how we can make our cat to be also a friend of the birds. A lot of bird species cannot see their reflection on the windows, so they collide with them. So there can be fractures or even death. That's why simple solutions like putting films with different patterns on the glass can help the birds to visualize the windows and avoid collisions. Mainly this bird has problems with these windows. Also, the plastic pollution, we can have this prevention on our daily life, avoiding to use plastic while drinking water, to use recyclable bottles every day. And we can also clean plastics on our urban parks or recreational areas on the beaches, because birds can confuse plastic with food products. They can lose body parts or confuse or get tied up with plastic. Another action that we can see in our global poster is to turn off the lights in order to help them while they're migrating. A lot of birds migrate while this is in the night, and we have a lot of intense light in our communities. This is why when lights are not necessary, the best thing is to turn them off, and we can help birds by this action. There is a new trend of agroforestry that is friendly with nature, where we find this bird-friendly coffee, bird-friendly chocolate, bird-friendly rice, and these are practices that go along with nature by avoiding pesticides, chemicals, and maintaining the ecological structure of the forest, and at the same time making them productive for growers. This is why we invite you to search or look in your local market. If you find coffee or other type of food product that is bird friendly, consider it as the first option, because you will have a real impact in the conservation of their habitats. We need to work with our local decision takers. So having a sustainable urban planning is key for our cities. We cannot continue to grow our cities without planning. We need to involve the forestry engineers, the educators, to teach what's the best way of growing our cities without affecting the nature life. Our gardens, we can avoid pesticides in our garden and use natural options as the animals that can avoid pests in our gardens, both urban or home gardens. And what we all love and what brings us together here today, the education to inspire and connect with younger generations with the needs of conservation in our communities. We need to remember that generations cannot conserve what they don't know. So we have to teach them to love the birds, to our future bird watchers, decision takers, artists, and these are the children and young people in our communities. Great. So we've seen that our poster includes different conservation actions, and we only want to share some tips that will help to celebrate this World Migratory Bird Day with some of these tips or all of these tips at the same time. Please plan your event with time. Right now, we are 2 months away of this World Migratory Bird Day in May, and we have more months till October, so we have enough time to grab all of these resources and have a creative celebration. We need to choose where we're going to work, in a school, in an urban park, in a library, in a garden, and whichever place that you choose, please, it's very important that the activity shows this conservation topic of this World Migratory Bird Day. It's not the same thing to do a guide of observation where people will come and observe different species, where you will include in this guide, for instance, cleaning plastics or picking up plastics or maybe planting native plants, etc. So we are going to explore more about these ideas with Laura. That's why planning is the first step of our activity. After this, we will do this activity fun depending of your audience. If we choose a school, the activities must be creative to keep the attention of the young people. If I'm going to work with a university, maybe we can have a more professional focus. Maybe we would invite some experts. Or if we want to have a family activities, we can involve different recreational activities. The important thing is for the public to stay connected throughout your activity with you, and this connection must inspire. It must inspire curiosity, creativity of the participants, and we are providing a series of educational material that will help this inspiration to arrive easier, and we will be able to download these and explore them in the future. Of course, we want to know what they're doing, where they are doing this. For that, we have a global event map. We are going to share the link of the map in our chat so that you can record your event, even if it's this is in a festival, library, urban park, or whatever is creative for you. You can record this in our map. This will be helpful, and we also want to have this information to disseminate it in our social media and highlight your effort in every corner of the continent. This World Migratory Bird Day takes this art to create educational material and make it available for you worldwide. Most of this is in Spanish, English. We are working in Portuguese and French, but there are a lot that can be used already. And you can find them here in our Trello. This is our digital resource library. Everything's free for download. In this Trello, you will also find information sheets, stickers, banners, pamphlets, ideas for social media to create expectation in social media before we have a public event or you have a public event, and some other events or materials can also be found in our website migratorybirthday.org in the section of resources. Once we understand the topic of conservation, where we know where we can find the resources we record or register our events, it's also important to think of an ambassador. An ambassador is a person that lives in the United States that can receive educational material, and that this person will travel to another Latin America country, and they can bring this educational material to connect with an educator face to face. That's how we can have real connection. The educators receive their materials for their events, and we mostly connect the world through the educators and the birds. These are some examples of what a happy kid is. This is a support of educational material that we give every year to the educators that comply with these requirements. Please, we will be soon opening our survey to apply for these mini grants. These mini grants are mainly oriented to Latin America and the Caribbean. But if you are a group that do not have resources, maybe you can send a direct message explaining the need of receiving this type of materials. We will be receiving the application soon. We have a limited number of happy kits by region for Latin America, Caribbean, Mexico, South America, etc. So we will try to support most of the educators. However, the requirements for this happy kit we've already showed them in the past. To use the conservation topic, protects shared spaces, creating cities and communities that are bear friendly, registering the event, celebrating a World Migratory Bird Day, being creative about it, and of course sharing with us some photos in order to share in our social media about your events. So those are mainly the requirements that we ask from the educators to receive these happy kits, and of course filling the form, complete form. So now I'm going to ask Laura Barula to continue this presentation, and I want to tell the participants in Spanish. Laura will be speaking in English. That's why you need to go to the lower part of your Zoom to click on the interpretation button and select Spanish. When Laura is speaking in English, you will listen to Berenice, who will be translating all of the presentation for you. This instruction is particularly for those of you who speak in Spanish.
Laura Babulo, she is our Caribbean coordinator. She will talk in English so you can stay in this channel. Welcome, Laura.
Thank you, Miguel. Yes, hi everyone again. And as Miguel would have said, if you need English to Spanish translation, just click on the interpretation button and you can click on the Spanish channel for English Spanish translation. So I'm just going to talk about some activities that you can do to incorporate into your World Migratory Bird Day events throughout the year. You don't have to wait for World Migratory Bird Day the specific day. You can celebrate throughout the entire year. Okay, next slide. All right, this is just some examples of different posters that our educators across the region would create for their events. Next slide. All right, so let's get into some of the activities that you can do. So you can do activities at schools in a classroom setting. So you can do presentation or talks for kids in the schools. And then you can also do some education models, put up posters throughout their classroom, stickers, all these fun things. So the kids are reminded every day when they come into the classroom about migratory birds and how they can conserve migratory birds. Next slide. Yeah, let's take it outside. Let's go into our backyards. Let's go into urban urban parks, parks nearby our areas and our communities, and do a guided bird walk, which is always fun and engaging for everyone. Okay, next slide. This is always a great tool to educate through art. Everyone loves to color, everyone loves to draw. So help people to connect with migratory birds and the conservation of birds through art, through drawing, taking photos even, coloring, all these fun things. And it's something that even adults like to do, not only kids. Next slide. Yeah, let's do educational workshops. So you can do both. You can attend a workshop or you can even host a workshop. So whatever works for you. And these workshops can be on topics such as the conservation of migratory birds, bird migration, how to do bird-friendly gardens in your area just to help birds in your backyard and in your community. Next slide. This is always another great way to do beginner bird watching, just to help people who are interested in birds and they may feel a little bit intimidated to go out bird watching with a group. So if you have a beginner bird watching day, or you can help those people who are, they're always thinking about doing bird watching and they felt intimidated, they may be more willing to come out to a beginner bird watching event. And then just a few tips just to keep in mind that when you have bird watching activities, that you want to remove barriers in terms of you want to remove barriers for birders that may have mobility challenges, they have low vision or blindness, have autism, and also hard of hearing. Just remember, keep these things in mind, and you can get more information on these things through the Birdability program. So just remember, no one is limited to enjoying bird watching. Next slide. Storytelling. So get creative and just grasp the attention of your audience through storytelling, and you can incorporate things like characters, puppets, and even props to suit your target audience. And even adults love to watch puppet shows as well. So that's another fun thing to do. Okay, I think next slide. All right, just to close off the activities, there's no limit of what you can do. And don't forget to share your events with us. So now I'm going to pass it on to Alex, who's going to talk about promoting your event. And he will also be speaking in English, so you all can stick to the channels that you're in.
All right, thank you, Laura. Yeah, thank you. My name is Alex. I'm the Communications Manager for Environment for the Americas. And so today I'm just going to talk to you a little about promoting your World Migratory Bird Day event. So you've got your event planned, you've got the materials, you've picked the day, you've picked the location, you've got some of the activities in mind that Laura mentioned. Maybe you've registered your event on our global map. And so now comes the question, how do you promote it? So in this section, I'll go over a few things to enhance your World Migratory Bird Day event promotion. We'll talk about identifying and understanding your audience and your community. We'll also talk about different ways that you can promote, whether it's physical promotion like press releases or flyers, or social digital media promotion like social media. And then we'll also talk a little bit about what to do the day of your event and what to do after your event to help promote it. Next slide, please. Okay, so understanding your audience and your community. This is the most important part about promoting your event, whether it's through social media or physical materials like flyers. Knowing your audience and your community and identifying them accurately is going to help you tremendously when you're promoting your event. So when somebody asks you, who do you want to come to your World Migratory Bird Day? It's really tempting to just say, well, we want everybody to show up. But that answer won't really help you with your promotion. There's always a more specific group that you should be focusing on when you're promoting your event. And so in order to do this, you can start by asking yourself just a few questions. What age groups are we trying to reach with this event? What languages do they speak? Where are they located? What businesses do they shop in? What parks do they visit? What neighborhoods do they live in? And why would they actually want to come to our World Migratory Bird Day event? So understanding your audience is key to everything when it comes to promotion. The more specific you are about who you want to attend your event, the easier it'll be to reach them and to connect with them. So you've got lots of options for promotion, whether it's print, press release, flyers, ads, posters, social media, and all of its forms. But before you do any of those, really take the time to think about who your audience is and who you're trying to identify and who would you would like to come to your event. And so with that, you have to ask yourself, what channels, what apps are they using? Where are they physically located, where they would actually see a flyer or a poster for your event? And use this idea of your audience to figure out what channels work best for you, for your activities, and more importantly, for your audience. So you don't have to do them all, and your audience shouldn't be everybody. So really just try to narrow it down as much as possible and be specific at who you want to come to your event, and it'll make your promotion much, much easier. So physical promotion, I won't walk you through how to write a press release or anything like that. Instead, I'm just going to give you a couple pointers on how to just write and communicate clearly, no matter what sort of promotion you're going to be using. So whether it's a press release or a flyer or any sort of advertisement, you want to identify the who, what, when, where, and why of your event. So be very clear, very concise. If you're using anything that's visual, you want it to be colorful and include some of the art that we have provided in our Trello for you. And keep it simple. Include photographs if you can. And so down here, I have a little example of an advertisement we have for our World Migratory Bird Day event here in Boulder, Colorado. And so you can see it's got what the event is, where it is, what time it is, and just a couple of the activities for it. It's also including our peregrine falcon, one of the focal species of this campaign as well. And art like this is available on our Trello for you to use in your promotion efforts as well. So just a nice example to show you of what I mean by keeping it concise and clear. Okay, so social media. When it comes to social media, it can be very overwhelming. There's a lot of apps and different ways that we can actually use social media. But my advice is to keep it simple and to focus on just a few. Pick three or less, and pick the ones that work for your audience, and use the ones that you know how to use. So, what can you realistically keep up with that you already know how to use that app? I mean, is it email? Is it Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter? Pick what works for you and stick with it. And be social on social media. So comment back when people are commenting on your page, message them, and engage with people who seem interested in your event. And try not to do too much on social media when it comes to the number of apps that you're using. You're better off just picking a couple that are really specific for your audience, where you know you're going to find them and you know that they're going to be using that app, and then keeping up with it, posting every couple days, and really just engaging on just a few of them that are more specific for your audience is going to be much more effective than trying to do all of the social medias at once. So there's a couple different strategies for things that you would want to share on social media for World Migratory Bird Day. And so I just picked a couple examples. Pictures and short videos always do the best. Visually appealing images of past events, of maybe behind the scene preparation for your event, sneak peeks and previews of what attendees can expect at your event. Maybe you're highlighting some key attractions or experiences that will be at your event that can generate just some excitement. Or perhaps it's even some demonstrations or workshops and performances that will be at your event that you have planned. The other thing that you can also include is maybe some informative posts. So content like where your event's going to be, event details, schedules, speakers, performers, or any special features or themes that you have for your event are always nice to share leading up to it. And to make the most of your social media, being consistent is really important. So posting regularly, maybe a couple times a week, just to keep your audience engaged and to make sure that your event stays at the top of their minds when they're following you. So there's also a few things to avoid when promoting your event that I'd like to mention. One is using too much text on images. You really don't want to overload your images with visuals and let the photos do the talking. And there's room underneath them for photo descriptions where you can actually put that text. And it's going to be much more effective just to have captivating pictures instead of images with lots of text on top of them. The other thing to avoid is just low quality photos. So things that are not high resolution and appear blurry or poorly lit will just make your event not pop out on social media, and people will tend to scroll past it. So use as best quality photos as you can when you're using it. And the other thing that to avoid when you're promoting your event on social media is just any sort of offensive content, things like violent images or harm to animals. Those are just not with the values of the World Migratory Bird Day campaign. And so like we just advise against using anything like that. The other thing with social media is to be social, respond to comments, questions, create a Facebook event if you're using Facebook with all the necessary event details. You can also tag educators for your event, presenters and guests that you have invited. This is going to help your reach on social media and encourage your attendees to share their experiences as well on social media for your event. So the last, oh, sorry, not yet. Great. The last way to promote your event, other than physical and digital media, is the most effective way. And this is in-person promotion, the original social media, right? So spreading the word through phone calls, text, and personal invites to people you already have a relationship with is going to be the most effective way for people to come to your event. So share your event with friends, family, colleagues, neighbors, community members, and personally invite them to your World Migratory Bird Day. This is by far going to be the best way to get people to come to your event in your community. So during and after your event, one tactic you could use to just increase your reach on social media and promote is to post from your event itself. So taking photos while it's happening and tagging people in it. Also, just encouraging participants to do the same at your event and taking lots and lots of photos of your event. And you can always tag us at Environment Americas when you post about your event and using the relative hashtags for the campaign. And this is going to help you build community. And like we love sharing your events. And the only way we really get to see them is by you tagging them on social media. And so if you tag us, we'll always share them and include them in a lot of our stuff as well. And so encourage interaction and community building through people attending your event. Reshare when you're tagged and vice versa. And then also just including all of the relevant hashtags for our campaign as well. And so here I just selected a couple photos that were shared with us last year that I just thought were really great examples of things that you can include on social media for events. And so you can see those events will show you kind of what's going on at the event, what to expect. They're very colorful, they're high resolution, and you get a really good idea of the event itself just by looking at the photos rather than reading about them. So I just wanted to put those on there to include to show you the kind of photos that will really benefit your event. Okay, so let's recap everything. Number one, and most importantly, know your audience, know your community, identify who it is you want to come to your event, and then promote with those relative channels for that audience and where you can find them. You know, there is no, I remember giving this presentation last year, and a lot of the questions that came in were, what is the best social media app to use? What's the best one? And the answer is that there is not a best one. The best one is whatever is your audience is using. So you want to know your audience and then meet your audience where you can find them. And also share and be social, be yourself, and connect with the World Migratory Bird Day Global Network by registering your event, tagging us whenever you're posting on social media, using our resources that we have available for free on our Trello to help with your promotional materials. And if you don't use social media and you still want us to share some of your events, reach out to your coordinator for your region and send them some photos of your event, and we'll be happy to share them for you. So thank you, everybody, and I will pass it back to Miguel.
Gracias, Alex. Thank you, Alex. And now we
Thank
will
you,
move
Alex.
to our special guests. They are from Peru, Mexico, and the US, and they will show a little more about how an educator prepare for this. This will be in Spanish, so if you are an English speaker, I would like you to click on the three dots and find the interpretation button and select a Spanish English translation. So for the first invite, Priscila, me gustaría invitarte como primera presentadora.
Priscila, I would like to invite you as a first presenter. Are you here?
Buenas tardes.
Hello.
¿Me oyen bien?
Good afternoon. Can you hear me
Sí,
well?
te escuchamos, Priscila.
Yes, we can hear you,
es
Priscila. Priscila
nuestra amiga
is
educadora
our
regional de aves
educator
migratorias en
friend
Perú.
for the
Va a estar
World
comentando
Migratory Bird Day in Peru,
su
and she
relación
will
con el
be
programa,
talking
especialmente una de
about
las
her
iniciativas que lleva.
relationship
Te
with the
damos
program and
ciudadanos en
her
Perú.
initiative
Adelante,
of
Priscila.
urban birds in
Bienvenida.
Peru.
Hola,
Go
muchas
ahead,
gracias,
Priscila.
buenas
Hello,
tardes.
thank you very much. Good
Emociona un
afternoon.
montón poder
I'm
estar
very
aquí y
excited
compartir algunas de las cosas
to
que nos
share
han
with you some
funcionado
of the
bien. Yo
things
estoy
that
a
have worked
cargo
for
de
us.
un
I'm
proyecto
in charge of a
que se
project
llama Aves
that is
Urbanas de
called
Lima, que es
Urban
ejecutado
Birds
desde
of
un centro de
Lima that
investigación peruano que se llama
is
Cordiri.
carried out by
Resulta de
Cordiri, an
distintas actividades,
investigation center or research center in
pero
Peru, and we do
nosotros,
several
bueno,
activities.
particularmente tengo el contacto con
Particularly,
el
I
Amazon
have
desde el
contact with the
2016,
environment of the
que yo
Americas
hacía
since
unos talleres donde
2016, that
trataba
I
de
was
hablar de
doing
aves
some
playeras
workshops
y de
where I
pronto me
tried to
dijeron,
talk
oye, ¿por qué
about
no escribes
beach birds, and
y
they said, hey,
pides
why don't you
ayuda para
write?
compartir
And you
estos
ask
materiales?
for
Y fue
help
maravilloso ver
to
cómo
publish these
funciona toda
materials,
esta
and it was
campaña, ¿no? Yo creo
wonderful to
que
see how this
si es que
campaign
en
worked
mi
out.
mente,
I
en mi
think that
ser
if
y
in my
todo,
mind, in my being, and
tengo
everything,
tanta conciencia de la importancia de
I'm
trabajar en
so
equipo,
aware of the
es
importance
gracias
of working as a
justamente
team.
a la
This
gente
is
de Urban
actually
for
thanks
Lima,
to the
porque
people in the environment of
diseñan
the
esta
Americas
campaña,
because
se
they designed
trabaja
this
y,
campaign that
a nivel
works
mundial, en la que todos vamos
worldwide,
con un solo
where
mensaje y
we all share
por eso es
the
que
same
desde
message.
entonces lo
That's
que
why
sea que
since
hago,
then, whatever
distintos
I do,
proyectos o lo que sea que
the
hacemos,
different projects or
siempre se
whatever we do
transversal
here,
a todo lo que
it's
hacemos, algunos mensajes que han
it
sido
always
claves y
goes hand to
memorables,
hand
¿no?
with
Las aves
everything that
linden
we
nos
do.
conectan,
Key
las
messages
aves
of
conectan
how
nuestro mundo, es
bird
uno de ellos
lynxes,
y
birds
es
connect
una de
our
las razones
worlds.
por las cuales
And
amamos
this is
celebrar el Día
one
Mundial de
of
las
the
Aves
reasons of why
Migratorias
we
de la mano
love
de ustedes.
celebrating this World
Así que
Migratory Bird Day together
eso es lo
with
que
you.
tratamos de hacer a través
So that's
de,
what we
como les
try to
mencionaba,
do
nuestras distintas actividades, ¿no? Hacemos
through
talleres de
the different
observación de
activities.
aves,
We
hacemos viajes
do bird
virtuales,
observation,
capacitaciones,
virtual
talleres,
talks,
y hay cosas que son
trainings,
transversales como
workshops,
el hecho de siempre
and goals
considerar
that
la
go hand to
diversidad que
hand
pueda haber en nuestra
as we
audiencia
always consider the
y el trabajo
diversity of our
colaborativo que
audience,
necesita
and
también
this
es clave.
collaboration
De nada
is
sirve que tú
key.
quieras destacar
Maybe you want to
solito
do
como ser el
something,
protagonista. El
uh,
mensaje es más poderoso si es que
but
trabajamos
the
en equipo. Por
message
eso le
will
damos tanta
always be more
importancia a tener
powerful if
aliados,
we work
a
as a
compartir
team.
las
That's why
verdades y
we
eso es lo que hemos tratado de
consider to
hacer
have
por estos
alliances to
pequeños
be
materialitos de
fundamental
aliados
to share
y
our ideas. That's why
una
we
de las
have
cosas
more than
maravillosas
50
que también pasó es que
allies.
gracias a
And
este
something
proyecto que era tan
wonderful that
local, recibimos la
happened
invitación para unirnos al
is
programa de
that this
aves
was a
urbanas,
local
que es una iniciativa que nace
project,
en
but
México y
we
que
were
tiene más
invited
de
to this urban
150
initiative that was born in
152
Mexico that
ciudades
has more than
y algo
150
similar está pasando en
representatives in
Perú,
different cities, and something
donde
similar is happening in
Cordiri
Peru,
empieza a
where
contactar con
Corbidi
otros
is
representantes
beginning to
andino en los que
contact
están
with
interesados en
other
trabajar con
national
aves urbanas
representatives
y
that are
hay espacios que
interested of
se
working
puede
with
compartir.
urban
Siguiente,
birds,
por favor.
where we
¿Y
can share.
por qué es importante
Next.
trabajar en las
Why it's
ciudades? Porque
important to
aquí es
work in
donde
the
encontramos
cities,
a la
because
mayor
here's
cantidad de
where we can
personas,
find
donde
the
ocurren las
most
cosas
amount
y
of
el
people where
futuro
things are
del
happening,
mundo
and the
está en las
future of the
ciudades.
world
Entonces,
is
si
in the
bien hay especies
cities.
más vulnerables en otras
So
regiones, es
there are vulnerable
importantísimo
species in other
que reforcemos la
regions, but
idea de
it's
que
very
existe
important to
o es
reinforce the
importante
idea of how important
llegar
it
a esto que
is
es la
to
sustentabilidad
reach
urbana, ¿no? Que el
this
desarrollo de
urban
estas ciudades
sustainability, that the
pueda
development of city
satisfacer nuestras
spaces
necesidades y
could
comprometer
satisfy
las
our
necesidades de las
needs
siguientes generaciones.
and
Siguiente, por favor.
to commit future generations.
Y bueno, y lo que tratamos de hacer nosotros
What we
siempre
try
es
to
tratar de llegar a un
do
público nuevo. Nuestro
is
público objetivo
to
es aquel que
reach
ni siquiera sabe
new
que existe la
audience.
observación de
Our
aves
objective
o es
audience
consciente de que existen estas
are
aves
those
en
who
las
do not
ciudades.
even know that we have
Entonces,
bird
por eso es que siempre
observation.
estamos
That's why
tratando
we're
de formar
always
esta masa
trying
crítica, ¿no?
to
Esta
create
masa
this
crítica se refiere
critical
a tener
mass.
un número de
This
personas
says that
que
having a
puedan hacer
number of
posible que las
people
cosas
that
pasen,
can
que
make
tomen mejores
possible
decisiones que nos
or make
convengan a
things
todos.
possible, that
En este
can
ámbito,
make
por
better
ejemplo, en este
decisions
caso
that are
respecto
convenient for all.
a la conservación, ¿no? Siempre
And we're
hablamos
talking about
y nuestro mensaje
conservation.
básico
Our
es que el bienestar de
base
la humanidad
message is
depende
that
del
the
bienestar de la naturaleza.
human
Este público
well-being
objetivo
depends
generalmente
of nature
es el
well-being.
ciudadano de a pie que ni siquiera se detiene a pensar
Our audience
o a
are
observar, ¿no?
citizens
Y ha
that
sido
are not even
clave
thinking
trabajar
or
en
observing. So
lugares
it's
muy concurridos.
being
Siguiente,
key
por
to
favor.
work in populated areas.
Siguiente.
Next, please. Next, please.
Acá, y no sé si les ha pasado a ustedes, pero sí suele pasar que cuando tienes a
I
dos
don't
o
know
tres
if this
personas
has
que están
happened, but
diciendo
when you
distinto,
have two, three
todas
people
vienen a preguntar qué está
looking
pasando.
towards
Y
the
ese
sky,
entusiasmo que tú muestras o que
people
empiezan
begin
a
asking
compartir las
themselves. So that
personas es
enthusiasm
contagioso.
and what
Y
people begin to
como
share,
les
it's
decía, es
contagious. So
importantísimo
as I
trabajar en
mentioned, it's very
ciudades
important to work
porque
in
las
cities
ciudades están
because
implicadas,
cities
según uno de los
are
investigadores, o es uno de
implicated
los
in
lugares que presentan los
our
mayores desafíos para las aves migratorias.
one of the
Pero
places
también
that
podemos pensar que son los lugares donde
give
podríamos
more
encontrar
challenges to
mayor
migratory
oportunidades.
birds,
Por
but where
eso es
we
que
can find
fue
many opportunities too.
maravilloso
That's
que,
why
por
it
ejemplo, en
was
el
wonderful. For
2022
instance,
tuvimos
in
este tema que se
2022,
llamó
we
las
had this
migraciones
topic,
seguras. Entonces empezamos a desarrollar
safe
las
migration
temáticas en
in
torno
dark nights.
a
So
esto.
we began to develop
Y como
this
les decía,
topic
uy, perdón,
surrounding this.
mi temporizador ya funcionó.
I'm sorry, that's my clock. But
Una de las cosas que nos funciona
one of the
mucho
things
es, ¿por qué
that
no ir a observar aves?
works
Ya
very
sea en un
well
lugar
is to go to
impresionante como
make
un
bird
humedal, donde vamos a
observation.
encontrar una gran
Maybe in
diversidad
a
de aves,
mangrove where
y
we
vamos
can
de frente
see a lot of diversity
compartir
and we
información,
can
porque
share
además
information
es la
because
información y el entusiasmo lo
additionally
que
it's
produce este efecto de
information and
contagio, ¿no? O sea, siempre
enthusiasm
creemos en la
that
fuerza del disfrute.
has this
Y
contagious
también
effect, this
puede
enjoying.
suceder lo mismo en lugares donde no
And
hay
the same
tanta
thing can
diversidad.
happen where we
Podemos
don't
estar en
have
medio de la
so
ciudad
many
donde
diversity,
tal vez
maybe in the
no
middle of the
encontremos
city
tantas
where
especies
we
de
won't
aves,
find so
pero
many
si tú
species.
compartes
But
información
if you
clave sobre
share
alguna especie, por
key
ejemplo, para
information about a
nosotros en Lima,
species,
uno de
for
los claves
instance,
es el
for
peligro
us
del
in
turtupinín,
Lima
y tienes
is
distintos elementos,
the
por ejemplo, para nosotros que
turturtirin,
usamos estos peluches,
and
tanto grandes
we
y chicos de
use, for
vista,
instance, this
tratamos de tener
stuffed
muchos
bird.
efectos sensoriales
Both
para que la gente pueda
kids and
tocar
adults like this.
y
We
sienta
like
una
to use
identificación con ellos. Entonces,
sensory
de pronto estamos en
material
un
for
lugar en el que
people
no
to
hay tanta
touch
diversidad,
and
pero tú le has
interact with
hablado
it.
de unas especies.
But
Atiborrar de información también es un poco problemático, pero tú le hablas
to
de
give
unas
too many
focas.
information may be a
Cuando
problem. But
uno
if
las
you talk about
encuentra
a
y
seal,
desarrolla esta
and
capacidad
when
de
they see
detectarlas,
the
y ahora
seals, they
estamos poniendo
can
mucho
detect
énfasis
them,
en el
and
uso
we
de podemos utilizar
emphasize
el sentido
on how we can use
al
our
máximo. Decimos,
senses
vamos a
and
despertar
maximize
el poder
them,
que todos tenemos
and we
dentro.
can and we say we need to wake up our
De
inner
detectar
power
de las aves,
to
de
detect
ver más
the
allá de
birds,
la
to
mente vive.
see
Podríamos enfocarnos en la
further.
necesidad de tener muchos
We
equipos.
could
Pues
focus in the
nosotros
need of having a lot of
tratamos
teams,
justamente de
but
hacer lo
we try
contrario.
to do
Decimos,
the
a ver,
contrary
¿qué
actually.
pasa
We
si no
say,
tenemos
hey,
equipos?
what happens if we don't have enough
De todas
teams or
maneras
many
podemos
teams?
detectar a las aves.
We
Y
can
eso,
still
¿qué pasaría si
detect
ni siquiera
birds.
pudiéramos
So
verlas?
what would happen if we
Entonces,
couldn't even
en nuestras
see
salidas
them?
también lo que hacemos es
So in
sentir el contacto con las
our
personas, lo cual es bastante sensible porque imagínense
trips,
que un extraño
we try to see the
confíe en
birds.
ti y se deje cubrir los ojos por
Okay, we
estas
cover their
chicas que llevan
eyes,
mensajes que dicen yo amo a las
and
aves.
that's sensitive because I mean they have to
Y
trust
pedimos
us.
a que la gente
And we ask for the
nos
people with
diga dónde
their
está detectando las
eyes
aves. Gracias
closed
gracias a las
or
localizaciones, porque también
covered to
estamos
tell us
detectando
where
dos
the
cosas,
birds
¿no?
are
El
located.
hecho de que en las
So they
ciudades hay
detect a
uno de los
couple of
grandes
things
retos, que son
that in the
el
cities
ruido,
we
el ruido
have
que
the
tienen que
noise, which
enfrentar
is
las
a
aves,
challenge,
pero
and this is something that the
también el
birds
hecho de
must
que
face,
incluso
but
personas con
also the fact
discapacidad
that even
visual
peels with people
realizar
with
observación de aves,
visual
o sea, la apreciación de
problems
las
can
aves
also
gracias a
appreciate
las
birds
vocalizaciones, ¿no? Y
thanks
además
to
también
vocalization.
abordamos el tema de
And
que
we
aquellos que ya tienen
also
experiencia también los invitamos a que sean más
invite
conscientes
those
de
that
que
already
estas
have
grabaciones,
experience to be
estas vocalizaciones están comunicando algo.
aware that
Entonces
this
abordamos varios
vocalization
temas de
also
eso.
communicates. So
Esta
this
actividad en la que cubrimos
activity
los ojos de las personas,
where we cover
les
the
decimos,
eyes of the participants and we tell
indíquenos
them,
desde
hey,
dónde
tell us where
está vocalizando el ave.
the bird is vocalizing. It's funny because everyone signals a different place, and then we ask them to walk with their eyes covered. Some of them trust, some others have or receive the help of one of the team members, but we make them uncomfortable, and this gives the opportunity of discussing about the challenge of these people with visual incapacity or disability, and they help them focus. I promote bird observation because it helps you with your mental health and how you breathe when you are trying to detect a bird, both visually or through their singing or vocalizing. This is wonderful. And I think that a lot of people enjoy it. And this can be wonderful when they finally remove the cover and they start sharing their experience. So people feel how they have awakened a new power. And when they are blindfolded, you're explaining what bird is singing, and they realize that the bird was always there, but you needed to detect it. And it also helps us to remember that we can find migratory birds in the cities. Our the day is on the second Saturday of May and October, but we always talk about this in all of the activities that we carry out or the different projects that we have. We're always talking about the importance of diet. In this case, it's not an insect, but we have some fun activities when we needed to talk about the importance of the insects. We had toys, vials with samples. We had an activity where we invited the municipality insect center so people could touch the insects that were being raised by the municipality. Touching, feeling, people love this. We also look for birds and insects, and we make the question of why birds are here. We have also reported rare species. Inspectors say, hey, there's not a lot of different things, but it has happened a lot that in the activity that we're on, we report birds that people say, then the experts arrive and they reevaluate the spaces where we can find these birds that maybe they were always there, but we needed more people to be present in these places with an open mind of detecting them, finding them, and protecting them. So that's what we try to do. And talking about cats, a creative thing that has helped us to reach the public that is not interested in birds are cats, because we have stuffed animals like cats, and we tell them that cats can be friends with birds. All of this will be registered in a project that we have, national data about what's happening in the cities with the birds. Is based on an example that we uploaded of Empower Mexico, and the monitoring of birds that they're doing is wonderful. So we hope that more people want to become part of the group, that they want to replicate these activities. So if anyone has any doubts or questions on how to begin, and they feel that they don't have enough training to motivate other people to do this, is the strength of the enjoyment more than knowledge. If you feel that you don't know, we can learn together. But the key thing, and throughout the different activities that have helped us reach so many people, is that those of us present, we are part of the team and we have a lot of fun. So as a project, we would like for this enjoyment to bring people to the next level, to elevate the power and start gathering data. That's the invitation that we do to the community, and we will continue to keep in contact. So we have many ideas. I had 5 minutes. I have surpassed those
Gracias,
5 minutes, so
Priscila.
thank
Excelente
you.
todo lo que hacen en Perú.
Thank you,
Y
Priscilla. Everything
con
that they do
esto
in Peru is
invitamos a
great.
nuestro
And with
siguiente
this, we
presentador,
invite our
Guadalupe
next
de México,
speaker,
del Festival de Aguascalientes.
Guadalupe
Guadalupe está por acá.
from Mexico, from
Claro que sí, buenas
Aguascalientes
tardes.
Festival.
Aquí estoy. No
Yes,
sé
I'm here.
si no activé la cámara.
Ajá, sí, ahora sí. Bueno, bienvenida, Guadalupe.
Welcome, Guadalupe.
Muchas gracias por la oportunidad.
Thank you
Estoy
very much for the
verdaderamente
opportunity. I'm
emocionada de
really
poder compartir lo
excited
que hemos hecho
to
en
share what we
Aguascalientes.
have done in
El
Aguascalientes
Festival de
State in
las Aves de
Mexico.
Aguascalientes
The
comenzó en el
Bird Festival in
2015,
Aguascalientes
cuando,
began
por
in
señal de ambiente,
2015
cuando Movimiento Ambiental de
when
Aguascalientes
Movimiento
aparecimos,
Ambiental
o sea,
of
nosotros nos gusta
Aguascalientes
mucho la
State. I
educación.
mean, we really like
Nacimos
education.
nosotros con
We were
esta idea
born with this idea
compartir, o sea,
of
queríamos defender nuestro
sharing.
medio
We wanted
ambiente,
to
nuestra
defend
agua,
the
todo. A
environment,
través de la
water,
educación nos dimos cuenta que
through
pues había
education.
muchísimas
So
otras
we
cosas.
realized that there are
Y
a lot of
bueno,
many
pues dentro de
things.
toda esta carrera,
So within this
pensamos en hacer un
path,
festival de las aves.
we thought about
Y
doing
ha
a
formado
bird
parte del grupo de observadores de
festival.
aves
So
de
I was
Aguascalientes.
part
Es
of
el logo que
the
está ahí. El mapa que
observer
se
of
ve es
birds
el
of
estado de
Aguascalientes.
lo
The
hizo mi
map that you
compañero
see is
Alexander Carrillo.
Aguascalientes map.
Logotipo con los
My
binoculares
colleague
y los
Alexander
famosos
Carrillo,
cardenalitos.
this
Y luego nos dimos cuenta que había una
logo,
organización internacional que
and then we realized that there was an
en el cual nos
international
podíamos unir. Entonces, desde que nació el
organization
festival,
that we could become
estamos
part
alineados
of. So
al Día
since
Mundial
the
de las
beginning
Aves
of the
Migratorias.
festival, we have
Se
been
llama
aligned with
así.
the World
Y
Migratory
bueno,
Bird
pues,
Day.
¿cómo queríamos nosotros hacer un festival
What
de
did we
aves?
want to do
Pues la
with a
columna
bird
vertebral para
festival?
nosotros es la salida
The
de
core
observación de aves. En este
was
caso, yo
bird
pedí a nuestro
observation.
líder
So
de
in this case, I
observadores
asked the
de
leader
aves
of the
de
observers
Adrián
of
Romo,
Aguascalientes,
que se
Adrián Romo,
podrían adherirse al
if
proyecto
they
del
could
festival.
adhere
Y
to
me dijo
this
que sí.
festival project, and
Y
he
entonces
said
con esto
yes.
ya para nosotros
With
fue
this,
de verdaderamente ya una puerta abierta para
this
poder
was an open
comenzar.
door for us to begin.
Entonces comenzamos así,
So
pues, tranquilamente.
we
Obviamente nació de
began
manera
easily.
multisede, con una idea
We
de
had
también la
different
educación hacia
locations
nosotros y hacia los
focused
otros,
on
de
education,
culturizarnos. Y
of
entonces
raising
ahí
awareness
apareció,
and culture.
ahí se movía algo, perdón. Sí se sigue viendo, ¿verdad?
You can still see my presentation,
Este,
right? Yes.
Ahí apareció lo que nosotros consideramos.
So that's where we
que se
got
fue
what we
fortaleciendo. Llegó la
consider, I mean,
pandemia, quiero platicarles.
so we
Y entonces
began
nosotros
with
en
the
ese tiempo lo
strengthening
hacíamos en
of
el
ourselves. So
festival.
then we
La
received
pandemia entró en
we began with the
en
pandemic
marzo, y
in
era muy
March,
cercano, pero yo
and this
estaba
was very
tratando
close
con
to
mis
the festival,
compañeros de
but I
cultura
was trying with my
de
culture
la cultura federal
department
el tema de Zoom para
peers.
poder seguir trabajando, y les decíamos
I
podemos
told them
seguir
how
haciendo el
we could
festival
continue to do this
y lo
festival
hacemos
via
por Zoom.
Zoom.
Todos decían, pero ¿cómo
And they
vamos a
were like,
conectar
hey, how
niños y
are we
todo
gonna
eso?
do
En
this? Like,
total que nos convencimos de hacerlo por Zoom
we
y
convinced
fue de
ourselves to do
verdad
this via Zoom,
sanador,
and it was something
maravilloso,
healing, wonderful,
convivir con
to
todas
get
las
together with all
personas
of the people
a la distancia, nos
on a
sentíamos
distance.
cercanos, nos
We
sentíamos la
felt
verdad que estábamos
close.
ayudando en algo, ¿no?
We felt that
Bueno,
we were
más o
actually
menos la
helping with
estructura del
something.
festival,
So the structure of
aquí
the
está.
festival, more or less, is right here. We have
Campamentos, tenemos culturas, pláticas,
camps,
música,
culture,
poesía,
presentations,
tenemos
music, poetry,
conferencias,
conferences.
de todo tenemos en este festival.
We have all
Más o
type
menos
of
dura
activities in
en
this
este
festival.
tiempo, porque llegamos a durar
Right
2
now,
semanas de
I
festival,
mean, it
pero en
lasted
este
up
tiempo
to
dura
2
del
weeks, but right
segundo
now
sábado de octubre al
it's done on the
tercer
second, from
domingo
the
de
second
octubre.
Saturday of
Comenzamos el
October
segundo sábado
to
que
the
se
third
junta con el
Sunday of
conteo de
October.
bird, y
We
entonces
begin
sucede
with
lo
the
siguiente.
bird
Mi
counting.
compañero y amigo
So
que
my
está aquí en
peer
esta
and
imagen
friend who
abajo,
is in this
es
photo
Sergio
below,
Castañeda, él se
he is Sergio
encarga de
Castañeda. He is in
organizarnos a
charge of
todos los observadores
organizing
de aves y
all of the
llevarnos, o
bird
sea, no llevarnos,
observers
sino decir, a ver, a ti te
and
toca
say, hey,
este lugar, a ti te toca
you
el
will
otro,
go to this
y así
place
nosotros
and this
vamos
place,
a
So
contar aves a
we
todas
go
partes.
bird counting
Luego
to all of the
tenemos a
places.
Alexander, que es un
Then we
investigador
have
que ahora
Alexander. He
está
is a researcher who
haciendo
is
su
now
maestría en
doing
Puerto
his
Rico,
master's in
Costa
Puerto
Rica,
Rico.
perdón,
I'm sorry, Costa
y que
Rica.
es un investigador, ha sido
He
tutor
is
de
a
varios
researcher. He's
chavos,
been
entonces
tutor of
tenemos
several
también
young
una serie de chavos
people.
aquí y
So we
chavas que
have
han hecho su
a group of
investigaciones en la
youngsters
observación.
that have
Tenemos a
done their
Lupita Price, que es
research
la que
in
está al principio.
observation. We have
Ella
Lupita
hace los
Price.
conectes con
She is
todos
the
los
link with all
conferencistas
of
y
the
les da pues toda la
speakers.
logística
She's in
y es
charge of
bastante
logistics.
buena para estar
She's
con
very
unas y con
good
otras. Moisés, que
with
además
everything.
trabajo con la cachucha, que además
Moises in the blue cap.
es investigador, es
He's also
observador
a
de aves y
researcher.
la
He's a
mayoría
bird
de ellos son grandes
observer.
fotógrafos.
Most of them
Eso
are
no ha
great
ocurrido en Aguascalientes, que
photographers.
somos un estado
Aguascalientes is
pequeñito
a small
dentro de la
state
República Mexicana,
in the
centro-occidente.
Mexican
Eso no
Republic.
ocurría
This,
antes.
and we
Marta,
didn't
que es la
have
que
this in
está
the
de
past.
cachucha de movimiento
Martha,
ambiental con
with
su
the yellow
blusita
cap,
rosa, ella es la encargada de hacer el
she's
campamento,
in
porque
charge
nosotros
of
tenemos la
doing
estructura así.
the camp.
Empezamos el sábado con el conteo, los
We
domingos nos
begin in
vamos a los
Saturday with
diferentes
counting. On
mercados
Sunday, we go with the
locales a hacer
different local
talleres con
markets to
niños,
do
niñas, con el
workshops with
público en general
kids
que
and
guste.
general public,
Y el fin de
whoever
semana que
wants to
cerramos
participate.
lo cierra
And
el
the closing
campamento que
weekend
organiza Marta.
is closed with the
Y
camp that is
falta,
organized
y
by
ahí está
Martha.
Josefina.
And
Josefina
we
se
have
integró el año
Josefina.
pasado.
Josefina
Ella fue la
became part of the
encargada
team
como
last year, and
de
she was in charge
que los
of
artistas
the
locales
artists,
pudieran
local artists,
participar con el tema
could
insectos y
participate
aves. O
with
sea, de verdad que la exposición
the
fue
topic of
verdaderamente
insects
impresionante,
and
grandes
birds.
artistas.
So
Y
this was
abajo ya
impressive. Great
estaban
artists.
dos chicas que son de
And
servicio
we
social, son
had
las que se
two
encargan,
social service
Monse y Mariana, de pasarnos
gals,
del
Monse
Zoom
and Mariana,
toda la semana
from
al
the
Facebook para
Zoom.
que quien quiera estar en las salas o quien quiera seguir por Facebook,
They do the
ellas son las
transmission
que
via
hacen la
Zoom
magia.
for
Y
those
sí, ahora sí me
of
pasan la siguiente.
the audience that want to
Cada
attend
día
but cannot be
de lunes a
present.
viernes, entre esto que
So
les
from
platico,
Monday through
tenemos
Friday, we have
actividades
activities,
de conferencias de tanto nacionales,
conferences,
internacionales, con los que
national and
hemos estado
international
Dani
conferences.
Garza
We've had
Tobón, Alberto
Daniela Garza
Lobato,
Torbón,
Patricia Saldo,
Alberto
mucha gente
Lobato,
muy
Patricia
interesante.
Saldo, very
Y
interesting
también
guests
lo que hacemos, el
and
año pasado tuvimos
speakers.
la
And
fortuna de
also last year,
hacer
we were
además
fortunate
la
to
relación,
additionally
siempre hemos tenido
do
una relación con los artesanos.
or to have a
Hay una
relationship with the
disciplina que nació en Aguascalientes que se llama
handicrafters.
ludoplastia y que
We
hace
have an
con
activity
cartón
that is called
un
Ludoplasty in
ave
Aguascalientes.
cada
So
año
with cardboard,
con esta
they
técnica
do a different bird
de
each year
artesanías
with
y
this
también hace talleres
handicraft
para
technique
todos.
and also workshops for
Ahí
everyone.
en las fotografías, muchas gracias,
In the
están pues
photographs,
diferentes
we have
momentos
different
del Día
moments
Mundial de las
of
Aves
the World
Migratorias en
Migratory
nuestro 10º
Bird
festival. Ya
Day.
vamos para el 11º
In
desde
the
el
next
principio
festival,
hasta
I
ahorita.
mean, the next
Hemos
festival will
estado
be
muy de
the
cerca
11th,
y
and
agradecemos muchísimo
we
la
have
participación
always
y
been working close
tutoreo.
with
Aquí puse el
this
primer
World Migratory Bird Day.
póster que el
We
otro
thank you
día
for your
me lo
participation
encontré
and your
aquí.
tutoring.
Creo que
I
no me veo en
included
la
the
cámara,
poster. I
pero
think that
atrás
you
yo
cannot
tengo
see
el
myself
póster del
in the
2018, que fue el año de las aves,
camera,
pero
but
aquí tenemos
behind me, I
2015 y
have the
2025.
2018
Ahí
poster,
están
and
nuestros
here it's
contactos. La
2015 and
estructura, como ya les
2025.
dije,
These
es
are
más
this
o
is our
menos
contact
así,
information.
muy enriquecedora para todos. Cada quien hace su función y
We
cada
all
quien
have a
hace
very
contactos.
particular
Hay algo
function.
que quizás se me pasó decirles,
There's
que
something that
tenemos
maybe I
mucha
missed saying. We
colaboración
have a lot of
con las
collaboration
organizaciones
with
no
the
gubernamentales. Todas
NGOs.
les decimos, oigan, ¿con qué
We tell
participan?
them,
Y cada quien
hey,
en su
what can
lugar se
you
encarga
bring
de
to the
hacer la
table?
actividad,
And
de
each of them,
desarrollarla,
they carry out an
y porque
activity, they
somos
develop the
pocos para poder
activity
llevar todo el estado.
because we
Y
are
también tenemos
a
la
few
participación muy
members to
activa de
take
todas
this
las
to the whole
instituciones
state. And we
medioambientales
have a lot of
de
active participation
Aguascalientes,
from the
Secretaría del Secretariado
environmental
de Medio Ambiente y
institutions in
Agua, Conavese,
Aguascalientes.
la CONAN, la Comisión Nacional
Con,
de Áreas Naturales Protegidas. Hemos
we have
estado
different
en lugares donde está la CONAN y
organizations
donde
from
están
the
también los
government
monitores
and NGOs where we
biodiversidad.
find the monitors and
Me
universities.
pueden faltar
I
varios
mean, I may be
y
missing a
por
couple.
el tiempo quizás
Due
peco,
to
pero
time,
espero
maybe I won't
omitir
mention
a
them
alguien,
all.
pero espero
I'm sorry if I
que
forget
más o menos
someone,
les
but
haya
I
podido
hope that
expresar
this
justo
somehow
lo que hacemos
summarizes what we
en el
do
Festival de las Aves de
in the Bird
Aguascalientes.
Festival of
Como dicen en
Aguascalientes.
Colima, siendo
As they
siendo
say in
Colima dice
Colima,
pequeño en extensión, pero grande en
it's
belleza, dicen
small
allá.
in
Y pues más o
extension,
menos
but
es
has a
un
great beauty.
estado
So we're more or less
pequeñito.
a small state.
Y bueno, pues
We're a
más o
very
menos
small
es lo
state,
que
but
nosotros
that's
hacemos
what
en
we
Aguascalientes.
do in Aguascalientes
Muchas
state
gracias,
in
Guadalupe.
Mexico.
Excelente todo el
Thank you very
esfuerzo y el
much,
equipo diverso.
Guadalupe. Great
Sabes
effort,
que
great
no solo son
diverse
las
team.
personas, sino son
We know that this
cientos
is
de
not a single
voluntarios y
person, but you
voluntarias
have
para hacer realidad el
hundreds of
festival tan especial
volunteers
que tiene.
also to do the
Y
activities that
seguimos
you offer.
entonces con la ronda. Al final
And
vamos
we
a
can
tener tiempo para
continue
las
with the
preguntas
rounds.
y
By the end, we will
preguntas.
have a
Ahora
time
nos
for Q&A.
invitamos a nuestra
Right
directora
now,
Susan
we
Bonfield, que va a
invite
cerrar
our
la actividad.
Susan Bonfield, who will be carrying out this next
¿Estás por
activity.
aquí, Susan?
Susan, are you present?
Yes,
Are you
I
here?
am, Miguel. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. And I just want to thank everyone for being here today. We appreciate your interest in World Migratory Bird Day and your enthusiasm for hosting a program or an event. And for those of you who aren't too familiar with World Migratory Bird Day or Environment for the Americas, the organization was actually launched because of World Migratory Bird Day. We've been coordinating the program since 2007. And it's grown since then because of your passion for birds and for your enthusiasm. We want to make sure that everyone knows that regardless of your experience, there is a way to participate in Migratory Bird Day and in hosting a program or an event. We want you to know that it doesn't have to be a big festival. It can be a simple program and something that you can launch and grow from year to year. And so when we watch organizations who come to us and begin their programs, they grow them like Priscilla, who started with us and then has, obviously has a big program now. But not everybody has a big program, and that's okay too. So we look for, like Miguel said at the beginning of this session, small programs and big programs. And what we recommend is that if you're just starting out, is that you keep your program simple. So you might think, oh, you'll just do one activity and invite one type of group. You might just have a school project, or you might just have a program for adults. What we're really looking for is that you incorporate the conservation messages into your program, that if you're doing a bird walk, that you talk about the conservation focus, or you talk about conservation that's relevant and pertinent to the place where you live and to the issues that your birds are facing. We also encourage you to work with partners if you don't have many staff or the capacity to organize a program or an event. A lot of times museums and zoos and botanic gardens are wonderful places to partner with because they have a location where you can work. They have educational needs and an interest also in birds and bird conservation. So do what you know and work with the partners that you can find within your communities. And this year, of course, with this theme of shared spaces, there are so many opportunities and different ways of presenting the information. If you're a group that has already done events and you want to make it bigger, we recommend that you just add a new component to your program. So let's say you've been hosting a bird walk every year. Maybe this year you want to add a presentation, a science presentation, or you want to add a community-based event for families, or you want to take some of the recommendations from some of our other presenters, Maria Guadalupe or Priscilla or Laura, and include something for a specific audience that you've never worked with before. And we're always here to help you with that. So think outside of the box and come up with some new ideas and use some from other suggestions here on this webinar. Next slide, please. So I think typically for a Migratory Bird Day event, what we see across the Western Hemisphere and around the world is that almost everybody includes some sort of bird watching component, educational station, and then we love to see stewardship activities. And so you can always look to the theme this year or to prior conservation themes. You can see from the top left that people doing plastic pollution cleanups Any kind of cleanup is always a relevant activity. Planting pollinator gardens or pollinator plants, doing forest restoration or grassland restoration, all of those types of stewardship activities benefit birds and are wonderful additions to your program. Next slide. Thank you. So for this year, just to give you some new ideas that we've had, and some of these may work in your community and some may not, but it's always good to introduce new ideas anyway. So using competitions to engage your community, we have lots of photo contests. We also, in our webinar series, have a competition going. Our next webinar will focus on bird strikes and with pane glass or collisions. And we have a competition that is open to everyone across the Western Hemisphere. So I'll tell you about that more in a moment. Partnering with a shade coffee plant farm or a coffee shop to highlight the benefits of shade coffee. Doing your own look at light pollution in your community is always an excellent way of identifying how lights impact birds. And then, of course, we all have challenges with cats and cats that are free roaming in our communities. So having a discussion about how cats impact birds and what can we do about that. There are just a lot of ideas. And you know, if you look at the poster itself is a great educational piece. So any part of that poster that you want to use and highlight in your program is excellent. Next slide. So we just ask you to join the celebration. I think, again, most of the programs are including some great activities. You can see on the top left here a costume competition that we hosted one year, but you can do that in your community as well. And I've seen this at a number of festivals, and some of the groups even have a vote, and they vote for the top 3 prizes for the competitions. So there's a lot you can do with a bird costume competition. And your education programs can take place anywhere. So you can see that it can be outdoors or it can be indoors. You can reach a small number of people or a large number of people. We aren't concerned about big numbers. We just want to know that, you know, we're starting somewhere with the programming. So thank you. Next slide. And from Environment for the Americas, we want to thank the people who make World Migratory Bird Day possible. These are our sponsors, and they are the ones who help support the education kits that we're able to send out, the downloadable materials that we develop, the art that Ana Maria Savarino has developed for the program this year. And also our partners with POW, Nature Canada, Birds Caribbean, Conabio, Mexico, who help spread the word about World Migratory Bird Day. Next slide. So thank you so much. We encourage you to write us in English or in Spanish if you have questions. We have people who can answer in both languages. So we encourage you to get in touch with us, share your messages, like Alex said, and we like to repost them. So we just want to hear what you're doing and to share our appreciation for all your hard work. Next slide.
Okay, muchas gracias, Susan. The last one.
Thank you very much, Susan.
You want me to do this one? So yeah, I thought this was the last slide. So yeah, we want to invite you all to join our upcoming webinars every month on a Thursday. Third Thursday of the month, we have a webinar focusing on the different topics that we'll be discussing this year, and we have a competition associated with each one. So for example, for the April 17th collisions presentation, we are inviting schools and people who are aware of buildings that have a window collision problem to send in a photo of that window and a short essay, a short statement about the problem. And then our partners at Feather Friendly are going to award free window film to that site to make that window safe for birds. So really want you to get involved in that one. May 15th is going to be a fun one because we'll bring in the author of The Cat's Meow to talk about cat biology. And then we're bringing in Albert and Mia. Albert and his cat Mia travel the world. and he will be talking about how possible it is to get your cat to learn to go out on a leash. So that'll be a fun one, and we'll talk about the impacts of cats on birds during that session. Those will be followed in June and throughout the year with other webinars. So please join us. Those are also translated English and Spanish, and we appreciate your joining us. So thank you very much, and I'll turn it back over to you, Miguel.
Muchas gracias, Susan. Sí,
Thank you very much,
finalmente
Susan. Yes,
llegamos a la
we
parte
have
del
reached
webinar en donde
the part of the
podemos,
webinar
responder
where
tus
we
preguntas
can answer to your
también escuchar a todos
questions
que quieran
and
compartir
also to
alguna
listen anyone who would
idea
like
para
to
el Día
share
Mundial de
any
las Aves
idea
Migratorias.
for the
Solamente
World
quiero
Migratory Bird Day.
finalizar invitando a todos
I
a
would
nuestros
only
próximos
like to close by
videoconferencias
inviting to
especializadas.
the
La
next
próxima el 17 de
specialized video
abril, donde
conferences.
hablaremos
The next one is
sobre
on
el
April
impacto de las
17th, where we will
colisiones,
talk
como las
about
colisiones de aves
the
entre los
impact
cristales,
of
cómo
the
mitigar ese
collisions of the
problema en
birds
nuestras
in the
casas y
windows
ciudades,
and
y
how we
también
can
cómo hacer
avoid
que nuestros gatos
this
sean más
problem in our
amigables
cities
con
and
la
how to
fauna
make
que
our
nos
cats
rodea.
more
Así que
friendly
muchas
with
gracias a
the
todos, muchas gracias
birds.
a Laura,
So thank you
Alex
very
y el
much,
resto del
everyone.
equipo
Thank you,
por
Laura, and
estar
the
aquí
rest of
junto a
the team for
nosotros,
being
y
here
es el
with us
momento
today.
de abrir la sesión de
And
preguntas,
now
de
it's time to
respuestas.
open the
Por
Q&A
favor,
session.
la mayoría
Please,
de los links se encuentran en
most
nuestra
of the
página
links
web,
can be found in our
dentro de los
website.
eventos para descargar los
The
materiales.
links to
Puedes
download
entrar a
material, the events, you can go to migratorybirdday.com and you can find all of the material there. If anyone has any questions, please raise your hand. You can even open your mic to listen to you directly.
To share something in English or have any question, you can open your microphone or write in the chat. Sí, vamos a compartir esta grabación en nuestro canal de YouTube.
We will be
tanto en
sharing
inglés
this
como en
recording
español.
in our
Así
YouTube
que
channel,
pronto van
both
a
in
poder
English and
revisarlo cada
Spanish,
vez que
so
quieran
you
para
will be able
prepararse
to
para sus
listen to
eventos.
it
María Eugenia
or
Mendiola, espero que eso
see it
responda tu
to
pregunta.
prepare for your
Los
events.
eventos
Maria
pueden
Eugenia
tener
Mendiola,
antes y
I hope
después.
this
Puedes
answers your questions. You can
descargar,
see this before and
registrar
after.
todos
You
los
can
eventos
download.
inmediatamente.
You can
Si tienes
register
alguna
every
fecha
event
tentativa, no
immediately if you
necesitas
have
tener un flyer,
any
no necesitas tener una agenda
possible
preparada,
dates. You don't need a
pero
flyer or
en
agenda
nuestro caso
prepared.
puedes
But in our
registrar
case, you can
inmediatamente. Y
do
por acá tenemos a
an
Laura
immediate
Jocelyn
registry. We
Ramírez.
have Laura
Adelante, Laura, puedes abrir
Jocelyn
tu micrófono.
Ramirez Martinez. You can go
Hola,
ahead, Laura. You
gracias a
can open
todas
your
y a
mic.
todos.
Hello, thank you,
Bueno,
everyone.
también me parece bien
I
importante
think
que
that
se
is
puedan
very
incluir
important
a
to
las comunidades
include
en términos
the communities in
productivos.
terms or
También a nosotros
productive
nos ha funcionado
communities.
mucho
For
estas
us,
ferias
it's
ambientales de venta de productos. Creo
these
que es importante
expo
también resaltar
shows
lo que la
where
gente
they
ya está
sell
haciendo en
products. I
las
think it's
comunidades,
important to highlight
acercarse a
what
los
people are
mercados
already
locales
doing in the communities
para que la
to
gente pueda
get close to these local
evidenciar,
markets
o
in
sea,
order for
que nosotros
people
sirvamos como un
to, or
catalizador para
for us
que
to be a
el resto de la
catalyzer
comunidad pueda conocer los
in order for
eventos
the rest of the community to
o
get
más
to know
bien
these
los esfuerzos
events or
productivos que la
the
gente ya hace,
productive efforts that
como producción
people
de
are
miel,
already
como
doing as
producción de...
production
Nosotros el
of
año pasado
honey.
tuvimos la oportunidad de
Last
invitar a
year, we had the
distintas
opportunity of
personas que
inviting different
producen
people
insectos.
who
Justo
produce
tuvimos por ahí una
insects.
feria gastronómica
We
y eso
had
también suma mucho
a
porque es una forma
gastronomical fair.
distinta
And
de
this is
acercar a
something
las
interesting
personas. No
because it's a
siempre se van a
different
acercar
way of approaching
directamente
people.
con
They
el
won't
interés de lo
always
académico.
have an
Entonces es como una forma
academic
más para
interest. So
poderlos
this is another
acercar
way
desde
of
otros
getting
intereses y que puedan
close
conocer lo que la
from
gente
a
ya está
different
haciendo
perspective and get to know
y
what
que puede estar vinculado
people
con las
are
campañas
already
anuales.
doing and that can be linked to
Gracias.
these yearly campaigns.
Gracias, Laura. Sí,
Thank
es
you.
correcto.
Thank you, Laura.
Muchas
That's correct.
personas,
A lot
empresas,
of
fincas ya
people,
están realizando un
companies
trabajo
are already
muy
doing
destacado por hacer sus
very
productos
important
orgánicos,
work
amigables con
for
el
doing
ambiente, y por
organic
supuesto que
products
si
that
están en
are
nuestra comunidad
environmentally
podemos
friendly. And of
invitarlos
course,
para
if
hacer
they're in our
nuestros eventos
communities,
más
we can invite
enriquecedores.
them
También por acá
to
preguntan
make our
si una finca
events
de
more
camarón
robust.
puede
They're
celebrar
asking
el Día de las Aves Migratorias,
that if
destacando
a
las aves
shrimp
acuáticas y playeras, y por
grower
supuesto que sí.
can celebrate
Todos
this
los
World
espacios
Migratory Day.
son
Of course,
importantes para
all of
trabajar
the spaces are very important to
la
work,
conciencia de los trabajadores en la
raising
empresa, de los
awareness of the
trabajadores
workers
que
of the
visitan
company,
este lugar
those
para comprar los
workers that
camarones
visit
o el
these
mismo
places to
público.
buy
Todos los
shrimp
espacios son
or the public.
potenciales
All of
para
the
ser más
spaces
amigables
are
con las aves.
potential to be
También
bird
por
friendly.
acá
Also, I would
clarificar
like
que
to
todos los que
clarify
se
that
registraron para
all
este
of those
webinar
who
van a
registered
recibir
for this
un
webinar are
certificado
going to
vía
receive a
online
certificate,
de
an online certificate
participación, por
of
lo cual
participation.
vamos a usar su nombre y su
So we are
correo
going to
electrónico
use your
para hacer
name
llegar el
and your
certificado
email
vía
to
digital.
send you this digital
Por
certificate.
acá también tenemos a
We
Jesús
also have
Hernández,
Jesus
agradecido por toda la información.
Hernandez.
Saludos a Venezuela, saludos. Y por acá María
Greetings to
Guadalupe, que no
Venezuela.
sé, venía
And Maria
comentando que levantaste
Guadalupe,
tu
do you
mano.
want to mention something? You have raised your hand.
Sí, justamente lo que
Yes,
decía la compañera,
precisely
yo
what
creo
my
que
colleague
se me
was
pasó,
mentioning.
pero decía que vamos nosotros a los mercados
She
locales
said how we
justamente
go to the
donde
local
se
markets,
mueve la
precisely where
economía local.
where we
También a
have
nosotros
the
nosotros
local
hacemos troques
economy.
y ahí hacemos
And we
muchos
also
talleres
do
cuando se organiza,
exchange of
pero
products and we do a
trabajamos
lot of
con
workshops.
comunidades
We work with the
de
communities
todos los años, o sea, todo el
every
año estamos
year.
trabajando con las
All of
comunidades
the year we
y
work
en
with the
el Festival
communities,
de las
and
Aves
in
son
this bird
parte muy
festival,
especial
these are a
también
fundamental
de
part
nuestras
also of our
actividades y
activities
de cada día. Ya las señoras de las
and every day.
comunidades, porque
These ladies
trabajamos con
in
el
these
colectivo
communities,
Mujeres de
because
las
we work
Pargas,
with the
Guardianes del
woman
Monte de
collective
Malacate,
of
Guardianes del
Parga, the
Futuro,
guardians of
y
the
también ellas
future,
ya
and the
están pasando
Malacate
aves,
mountain.
que es esta
And they're
que
also
nos
part
da
of these
muchísimo
activities
gusto,
of our festival. And this is
abonando a
something
lo que
that
decía
makes us
la
very
compañera,
happy,
¿verdad?
adding to what our colleague was
Muchas
mentioning,
gracias,
of course.
Guadalupe, excelente.
Thank you
Por
very
acá
much,
también tenemos a
Guadalupe.
Carlos
That's
García,
excellent.
que quiere
We also
compartir
have
un
Carlos
mensaje.
Garcia, who wants to share a message too.
Sí,
Ready.
saludos por acá, Carlos García desde Puerto
Yes,
Rico.
regards. I'm from Puerto Rico.
Quería saber si
I wanted to know
en efecto ya no se
if
están aceptando aplicaciones para la
you are
mini
no
beca.
longer
Pude acceder
accepting
al enlace
applications
y
for the
sale un comentario de
mini
que no, pues ya no se están aceptando aplicaciones
sponsorship.
a la mini beca.
Sí,
The
sí,
mini
usaremos el correo
grant.
de las personas ahora
We will
y
be
vamos a enviar el
using
enlace
the
por
mini
correo y
scholarship.
vamos a
We will be
habilitarlo.
sending these links
Solo el primer
via
paso para
email,
las mini
and we
becas
will
es
be inviting you. The
recibir el
first
entrenamiento, usar el tema de
step
conservación y luego
for
vamos a
the
abrir la encuesta para que
for
todos
this
apliquen a la mini
program
beca. Así que si
is
pronto
to
este fin de
receive
semana
the
estará
first
abierto.
training,
Muchas gracias. Saludos
and
a
we
todos.
will be opening this for this weekend for this mini scholarships program. Thank you very much.
Si tienen alguna otra pregunta,
Do you have any further questions?
¿tienen algún otro comentario? Si no
Any
es así,
further
bueno,
comments? If
entonces
this
damos
is
por
not the case,
concluido
we
este
can
webinar. Esta
conclude
hora
this webinar.
pasamos un poco de la hora, pero cuando uno está haciendo las
I
cosas
mean,
que
it
le
was a
gustan y
bit
le queda
more than
pasión,
an
el
hour,
tiempo
but
pasa
when we are
rápido, ¿no?
passionate and we
Entonces,
like
bueno,
what
felicidades a
we're
todos.
listening and doing,
El
I mean,
video va a estar
time
colgado en nuestro
goes
YouTube.
by
Gracias a los
fast. You
presentadores.
will find this
Esperamos ver
video
prontos
in
eventos
in
creativos
YouTube.
para
Thank
próximo
you
mayo,
to our
octubre y
speakers. We
durante
hope to see a
todo
lot
el
of
año.
creativity
Luego,
in
hasta
May,
luego.
October
Thank you very
events, and
much.
throughout the year.
Buena
Thank you very
tarde.
much, everyone.
Hasta
Have a
luego.
great afternoon. Goodbye.
Buenas tardes.